What's going on, guys? Welcome to your 30th Java tutorial for game applets. And as you can see, we have our platforms being animated. We're actually using a sprite sheet to get this animation, and that's what we're going to work towards in probably the next couple tutorials, maybe three. Let's jump into it. So what we're going to do first is obviously create our sprite sheet, and I'm not an expert at this, so but this is what my image looks like. Let me try and resize it here. Alright, well anyways, this is the size of my image. It's 120 pixels by 120 pixels. And as you can see, I have three different images of our platform. I tried to make it look a little bit animated. If we just kind of loop through all three of these, it looks like an arrow pointing up, because again, our ball shoots through the bottom and shoots up. So I don't know, just try to create a little sprite there. But make an image somewhat like this. Try to get the spacing perfectly, otherwise when we cut this in Java and make it animated, it might not look perfect. So try and create one image that's 120 by 40, and then copy that, save it, and then create another image 120 by 40. Just make it look a little bit animated, copy that, paste it, and then make your third image 120 by 120 and paste your first image up there, and then your second image, and then finally create your last image or your third image. And that's how we're gonna get that animation. We're just gonna cycle through this same PNG file or ping file and just cut out different areas as we update our platform class. Alright, so let's jump into our platform class and try and get started here. And if you guys tried this already, you might have, we're just going to try it. We're going to create an image called plat for platform, and we're also going to create a URL. Remember, we need that URL. So we're going to say URL. So there we go. We're going to at least try. So within our constructor, I deleted the other constructor we had, the default constructor, because I believe we only call this method anyways, or this constructor. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and set up our URL. So we're going to say URL is get document base, and as you can see, this method doesn't work because this get document base, and when we use it in our starting point class, was essentially saying this, referring to the applet class where we can actually get the document base. So we have our first problem here. We can't set up our URL, and then we can't load our image if our URL isn't set up. So that's a problem. We could change your constructor where we pass in the information from the starting point class, and then we say starting point dot get document base or whatever. We could set something up like that. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to just create a class for all of our resources, get them all loaded, all of our pictures that we want, at least from here on out. So we're just going to create a new class, and we're going to call this class pictures. And there we go. So within our pictures class, we want to have a constructor, and we are actually going to pass in the information from the applet. So we're going to say starting point, and we're just going to get the applet information. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up some variables. So we're going to say we want an image, and we're going to call this image platform. And we also want an image ball as well eventually, and also all of our other images that we want to set up for our items flying across. But as for now, we'll just set up and mainly focus on our platform. And what else do we want to have? We want to have a URL. This is going to be URL. What else? That's pretty good for now. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go within our constructor here, and we're going to set up our URL. Again, we're going to do this within a try and catch, and just to save some time, I'm just going to paste the code here. So again, all we're doing is we're setting up our URL, getting the information that we get passed in here, and we're saying get base document. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up our platform. So we're going to say our platform image again is equal to the SP. Well, if you guys remember from last tutorial, we said get image, and then we said the base URL, or the base URL, and so we're just going to refer to our URL, and then we're just going to refer to the string, which is images / platform for me, after you guys save your ping in there. And we're getting an error because, again, this get image is coming from the information of our applet. So we're just going to say sp.getImage, and there we go. We've set up our platform image nice and easily. So now when we go back, after we save everything and we go back to our platform class, what we want to do is we want to set our platform class image to be whatever image is in our pictures class. So let's try and set that up. So we're going to say platform is equal to pictures dot, and we can't refer to it. We want to say pictures dot platform, but we can't refer to it right now because, you know, we can't refer to class information unless if a variable is static. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our pictures class and make these images be static. So we save that. After our constructor gets called, you know, our platform gets set up for us, our platform image, and then we go into our platform class and we can just refer to the picture class, and since it's a static variable, we can just say, hey, this is what we want for our platform. So now we can access all this information pretty easily if they're static variables. I know we went through static in the previous Java series, but this is kind of seeing it in action. We just have to make sure we don't change this platform variable anywhere else throughout our game in any other classes. We can just refer to it so we don't mess up, you know, our game. But anyways, that's how we do that. So that's pretty neat. So let's go back, try and paint, you know, or draw our image. So we're going to go down to our paint method of our, wrong class, sorry. In our platform class, we're going to go down to our paint method, and we're just going to paint after our blue square because we want to make sure we're in the same kind of area as our blue square because that's where our collision happens. So we're just going to say g.drawImage, whoops. And instead of saying, well, actually, let's just you know, stick with the one we're familiar with for now, image xy and an image observer. So for image, we're going to refer to the image that we set up for this class, platform or plat, and for x and y values, it's going to be that. And then last time we said this. And the image observer is something that comes from the applet class. And since our starting point class extends the applet class, it's pretty much like an applet, so we can refer to the this variable. But again, since we're in the platform class, we can't do that. Simple fix, let's go into our pictures folder, and all we're going to do is we're going to set up a static starting point variable, which is pretty much like our applet, and we're going to call this sp as well. And again, that's why we have this constructor taking in the starting point object. Well, I guess we need it for here as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to set up this sp for a class sp or static sp to be equal to whatever is being passed in. So now we have the same information that our game's running on, our applet information, referring through this static variable sp. So now what we can do is save this and go back to our platform class, and instead of saying this, we can say pictures. We probably should have labeled that class resources, but we're going to say pictures.sp. And as you can see, this is, you know, this way of doing things is a lot more organized, and, you know, so we save more time. So we should have probably set up this resources class or this pictures class a long time ago so we could refer to variables that are static, like our gravity. Instead of having our gravity in our ball class, we could have added our gravity in here and then changed it when we needed to, stuff like that. So you know, that's how that works, static and action there. Let's save this and run it, see what we have so far. And the first thing that you notice obviously is we don't have our image, and the reason that's happening is because we can't get the information from our pictures class, our starting point information here. Obviously all of this information within our picture class means absolutely nothing right now until we call the constructor. So we're going to go to our starting point class, and within our initialize method, we're just going to call that constructor real quickly. So we could, instead of setting it up here, you know, we could have set up our city image in our pictures class, but who cares right now. So all we're going to do is we're going to trigger that information within the constructor. We aren't ever going to use this variable. We're just triggering you know, the setup. So all those static variables mean something. So we're going to say pictures p equals new pictures. Whoops. Pictures. And we're going to pass in the information of this class, again, the starting point information. So all we're doing is, you know, setting this up. Like I said, we aren't ever going to use p dot something. We're just triggering our constructor. So let's save this and run it, and hopefully we get something a little bit different. We'll get into the actual, you know, sprite sheet of things in the next tutorial where we actually animate it. But we do get the information from our resource folder, and there we go. I mean, that's pretty much all we have time for in today's tutorial. Like I said, we'll get into the sprite sheet stuff and animation in the next couple tutorials. So thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you later.